I also invite Naredco Telangana President, Mr. Vijay Sai Meka, to please join the stage, and Secretary General, Mr. Sridhar Reddy Garu. Thank you, sir. We would like to begin. Thank you, sir. We would like to begin this auspicious occasion by lighting of the lamp. I request dignitaries onto the dais to please step forward to lighten the lamp.
Good evening to all of you. On behalf of the Federation of Telangana Chamber of Commerce and Industry, it gives me immense pleasure to extend a very warm welcome to all of you today to today's summit on Telangana real estate, creating value beyond the square foot. I also extend a cordial welcome to our distinguished speakers, esteemed panelists, members of the managing committee, past presidents, members of the Infrastructure, Real Estate and Smart Cities Committee, members of FTCCI, participants, and friends of FTCCI. We are delighted to host here today at the Marvel Tea Hub, Hyderabad, a venue that itself symbolizes innovation, growth, and the future. I extend a special welcome to our supporting partner, Naredco Telangana, our knowledge partner, JLL India, our title partner, Nikhila Constructions and Developers, and our associate partner, HMDA Truck Dock Logistics Private Limited. Your support and collaboration are crucial in making this summit meaningful and impactful. Friends, Telangana and Hyderabad in particular has emerged as one of India's most dynamic real estate markets. Over the past decade, the sector has evolved far beyond bricks and mortar. Today, real estate is about creating ecosystem, enabling livelihood, enhancing quality of life, and building sustainable urban futures. The theme of today's summit is moving beyond the conventional area of square foot to value creation in its truest sense. As we look at the changing landscape, several important questions arise. Where is the real demand? In mid-segment or premium segment? How do infrastructure investment, policy frameworks, and mobility corridors influence project viability? What role do alternate asset classes play in shaping the future of real estate? And most importantly, how do we align growth with sustainability, inclusivity, and long-term urban resilience? Today's session has been carefully curated to address these very questions. Through expert presentation and insightful panel discussion, we will deliberate on alternate assets, investment strategies, policy and infrastructure impact, and Hyderabad's real estate journey towards 2024, including the youth perspective, which is especially relevant in a city driven by young professionals and entrepreneurs. Real estate and infrastructure remain key pillars of economic growth, employment generation, and urban transformation. Through platforms like this summit, FTCCI aims to facilitate meaningful dialogues between industry, government, and stakeholders, enabling informed decision-making and collaborative progress. I would like to acknowledge and thank our distinguished speakers and panelists, leaders who bring with them vast experience, deep market understanding, and strategic vision. Your presence adds immense value to the summit, and we look forward to your insight and thought-provoking discussions. Today's panel discussion is on mid-segment versus premium housing segment, and we also have one more session on Hyderabad real estate, youth perspective. One more is on rise of alternative assets in Indian real estate. One more is on policy and infrastructure impact on reality, and investment strategies and opportunities, Hyderabad 2034. There are certain businesses which keep evolving, and how much ever knowledge we may have, we require to be updated with the latest trend, and this is what makes us to have a seminar so that you are all updated on the latest trend and the new instruments that are coming in the real estate business. Once again, I welcome you all to this summit and wish the event a great success. I am confident that today's discussion will generate valuable insights and contribute meaningfully to the future of real estate of Telangana. Thank you and have an enriching and productive summit. Thank you.
Introductory remarks.
Respected K.K. Maheshwari Garu, respected Vijay Sai Garu, respected Srinivas Garimilla Garu, respected Sridhar Reddy Garu, and dignitaries of the dais. Thank you very much for making it convenient to attend this summit. We are extremely thankful to our supporting partners, Naredco Telangana, Knowledge Partners, JLL, the title sponsor, Nikila Construction and Developers, and the associate sponsor, Truck Dock Logistics. Now, obviously, we have 4 beautiful panels, and we have some of the most reputed, credible, and celebrated developers on these panels, and I'm sure it will be an enriching experience for all of us. Let's start with how India is shaping up. India is the only country which is growing at 7.5%. What does that mean for all of us? 22 years from now, India will be a $30 trillion economy compared to what it is today. We are a $4.2 trillion economy. So 22 years later, when India is a $30 trillion economy, where is real estate going to be? Real estate is going to... So look at all the opportunities that India is going to create, real estate is going to create. 7.5 growth, we are blessed to have great leadership. And compare this with several other countries. Even Germany had a negative growth of 0.25%. Austria also had a 0.25% negative growth. There are some other countries like Venezuela, which is in the news, which contracted by 4%. Myanmar contracted by 2.7%. So what does it tell us? Growth is not automatic for countries. Because of stable politics and several other factors going in our favor, India is doing well. And the great validation for this is several of the GCCs coming into India. Today, India is considered the GCC capital of the world. What are GCCs? GCCs are global capability centers. We have 1,850 GCCs in India and 355 in Hyderabad alone. Secondly, there was a survey done by PwC recently, as late as 2 weeks ago. It was a survey of global CEOs. And the survey said that India is the second most preferred destination for CEOs for cross-border investments. We are second only to the US. So the growth story of India is fabulous. Next 2, 3, 4 decades belong to India. I was reading one Goldman Sachs report which said that by 2075, India is going to be ahead of the US in terms of GDP. That will be a moment to cherish. Coming to Hyderabad. Hyderabad, of course, we have a very ambitious chief minister who set a target of $1 trillion by 2034. Now, you know, Hyderabad has been honestly blessed to have great leadership over the last 30 years. As a capital of Andhra Pradesh and subsequently as a capital of Telangana, you know, last 30 years, starting with Chandrababu Naidu Garu to Rajshekar Reddy Garu to Kiran Kumar Reddy Garu to KCR Garu and now Revanth Reddy Garu. We've had great leadership who have given this city great direction and have led the city with great vision. Now, where does Hyderabad stand? You know, let me tell you what validation we've got from international agencies. You know, there's an agency called Mercer, which has voted Hyderabad to be the best living city for 6 consecutive years. Then we have one Resonance Consulting, which did a survey across all cities in the globe, and they came out saying that Hyderabad is amongst the 100 best cities to live in. Then you have Oxford Economics, which says Hyderabad will be the 4th fastest growing city by 2035. We also have Savills, which is another leading brokerage firm, which said that Hyderabad will be amongst the 10 fastest growing cities by 2033. So what does this mean for real estate? You know, right now, what we have seen in the last 2-3 decades in Hyderabad, I think the next decade is going to be game-changing with so much more investments going to come in. So I think with this background, of course, the present government, Revanth Reddy sir's government, the way they are going about with expansion of metro, Musi regeneration, master plan of 2050, there are so many things that are happening for the city, and of course the law and order. Law and order is simply brilliant, is right up there. Law and order is one factor which several investors look to before investing in any city. So, you know, I was just reading about this, how progressive this government is. I was reading about these data centers. Almost 800 megawatts of data centers are under various stages of execution in Hyderabad. So in the next 2 years, we will have data centers which will be requiring 800 megawatts of power. And obviously, they are power guzzlers and they need a lot of water for cooling purposes. So this government has decided for 800 megawatts, they require 210 crore liters of water every year. And they are going to link it to the sewage treatment plants. So it's a win-win for both. The sewage treatment goes into these cooling plants, and the water requirement for cooling for the data centers also is met. So anyway, thank you very much for all of you once again for being here. We are looking forward for some invigorating sessions. And there's one speaker from JLL who is going to talk about alternate assets. So we'll be grateful if all of you are here till about 7 o'clock. We will have some good sessions going forward. Thank you.
Good afternoon to all of you. The panelists sitting here are experienced in their fields, working with commitment and passion to excel in their area of operations. The time allocated to us for this session, and we'll have about 10-minute question sessions also after the end of this session. This is mid-segment versus premium housing. Where is the real demand? And mid-segment housing means roughly defined as units in the 50 lakh to 1.5 crore range, or 1,000 to 2,000 square feet. But this is in Telangana, but it broadly varies from place to place, from location to location. In Hyderabad metropolitan area, we experienced a high demand in 2025. driven by a surge in IT employment and a desire for more living space. In quarter 4 2025, the mid-segment dominated with a 58% share of new launches, maintaining its status as the most sought after category. The overall market context is about rising costs, although demand is high. Average residential prices in Hyderabad have seen a consistent upward trend, with the average price reaching approximately 4,700 per square feet by mid-2025, a 15% year-on-year increase. And inventory trends, despite high demand, developers are exercising caution in new launches, with a 21.7% year-on-year decline in new launches reported in quarter 3 2025 due to inventory management. Despite the high volume of new launches, there is still significant unmet demand for over 20 lakh units in the lower income group, that is LIC, and nearly 9 lakh in the middle income group, that is MIC, in urban areas, prompting calls for more affordable or mid-segment development. In summary, the mid-segment housing market in Telangana is thriving, offering a mix of spacious layouts and amenities to meet the needs of the working class, particularly in the peripheries of Hyderabad, where connectivity to the outer ring road is enhancing accessibility. And then premium housing demand in Telangana, specifically Hyderabad, is experiencing a major boom in the last 2-3 years, driven by high income professionals and investors. Homes priced over 1 crore constitute nearly half, that is 48.5% of total transaction values, with the premium unit registrations rising to 35 to 37% year on year. Key areas like Kokapeta, Narsingi and Poppalgoda are atop, supported by a strong IT sector growth. Key trends and drivers in 2025-26: dominant market share. Homes costing more than 1 crore reached up to 21% of total registrations in late 2025, accounting for over half of the total transaction value. Key locations: high-end demand is concentrated in Kokapet, Poppalgod, Nanakramgoda, Narsingi and Gaganpahad. Unit sizes: there is a strong preference for larger homes, with 1,000-2,000 square feet units dominating 69%, while units more than 2,000 square feet are increasingly popular, that is 17%. And buyer profile driven by IT professionals, NRIs and affluent investors seeking gated communities with high-end amenities. Shift in preference: post 2020 demand focus on, that is after Corona, demand focus on spacious smart homes, wellness focused amenities, and in 2026 high-end professionally managed secure gated communities. This is the overall market phenomena about mid-segment and premium segment houses. As most of you are aware, post-corona, the aspiration levels of most of the people went up. So everybody want to move to the next level of house, from single bedroom to 2-bed, and 2-bed to 3-bed, and 3-bedroom to independent houses. And now in Hyderabad, as we study, there is no demand for single bedroom apartment. Single bedroom apartment, they are vacant wherever developers constructed. There is no demand, absolutely there is no demand. In spite of, they were not able to buy 2-bedroom also, but still they are waiting to buy 2-bedroom, but they are not going for single bedroom. This is a phenomenon in Telangana. So we will now start with taking the opinion and viewpoints from the panelists here. I will start with Ajitesh Kurupolu, founder and CEO, Ashoka Builders India Private Limited. I attended one of his session, that is when Naredco conducted on artificial intelligence. He gave a Wonderful presentation. It is an eye-opener for all of us. The detailing he did in his project and the micromanagement he planned and he executing the projects is commendable a lot. Jitesh, from your recent projects and sales velocity, where are you seeing stronger absorption today, mid-segment or premium housing in Hyderabad?
Firstly, I would like to thank FTCCI for giving me this opportunity. Thank you so much, Vijay Garu, for the kind introduction. See, I think what's happening, particularly if you look at the west of Hyderabad, right, it's predominantly driven by IT sector employment. And IT also, I think most of the offices here are forward-looking, like advanced tech offices. So the demand for here is purely, I would say, demand is purely on the premium side, but even supply is on the premium side. The problem what I think we're dealing with, especially if you're talking at a mid-income level housing, the demand for mid-income housing is very high. The problem is not the demand issue, it's the supply issue. Whereas in premium, there is good demand and there is good enough supply, sometimes oversupply. Right, so from a market perspective, mainly given Hyderabad is predominantly pushed by tech employment as a front runner for housing consumption, premium segment is going to do very well, and naturally luxury segment also has got some sort of headwinds now, but given that the economy of Hyderabad is growing at 15%, the city economy, state GDP is somewhere around 8.5–9%, we should see these two sectors thriving well. The key challenge for us as developer community, predominantly for government and another key stakeholder, the citizens, is how do we make this entire aspect of mid-income housing supply friendly. Today it's anti-supply, right? By that what I mean, if you look, if I want to go and operate in a mid-income housing group, something like 75 lakhs to maybe 1 or 1.1 crore segment, first and foremost, there is a GST side impact of 18% on construction cost. So on top line, that is on revenue meedik teeskelte, that should be somewhere around 10 to 12% of your revenue directly goes for taxes. Then your construction cost per se is not going to change as much because it's a very fragmented supply chain. That is, I'm going to buy materials from 100 different vendors and I'm going to take contractual services from 30–40 different vendors. Whenever we have fragmented supply chain, it's again very difficult to reduce the cost. So essentially, I think, and government also they cannot keep reducing taxes, it won't work, right? It's their revenue. I think the aspect of land is what is available in cities already in the form of urban sprawl or slums, what we call. The only challenge lies is in attribution, ownership attribution. If ownership attribution can be cleaned up, I think a good amount of participation can happen in the mid-segment housing group. Something to look forward would be the things what they've done in Bombay. But yeah, so this is how I would place the entire mid-segment and premium segment. But currently where it is, I think majority of the demand, naturally as you go more towards the bottom of the pyramid, the demand goes up. But the area where the demand and supply are sort of matching or creating an equilibrium is a premium segment.
So I think as the report says, there is a shortage of 9 lakh units in mid-segment, mid-level segment. So how do actually developer can address this and what were the possible locations?
I think the best thing would be city lopata already, so there are so many slums, sir. I think this slum supply can, if the critical component is from the government aspect, one is tax, other is land. The government can contribute through taxes and lands. Developer can contribute through marketing and engineering, right? That's how the thing. And second thing, actually I was looking at data also, I think mid-segment or maybe slightly less than mid-segment, ownership of house also is not suggestible. People should probably move towards rental accommodation than ownership of housing because basically if anybody is earning less than 12 lakhs a year, it's not suggestible to buy a house because the amount of EMI you end up paying, essentially your day-to-day life will become very impossible. So people today, housing essentially is viable from a customer angle, viable only if a household, not just an individual, but a household income of above 12 to 15 lakhs, it's recommended to buy a house. Anything below that, if people buy a house, actually their quality of life reduces because too much amount of money going towards the EMI. At that stage, I think a lot of rental-based accommodation can work out. And even if you actually see also, the purchase of two-bedroom homes has pretty much evaporated in the city. the entry variant of purchase itself is a 3 BHK home. 2 BHK homes people are not buying because as an end user, me buying a 2 BHK is essentially, I'll buy a 2 BHK after getting married and before having kids. That phase of life is only for 5-7 years. The minute I have kids, the house will look smaller. So investors can participate here and they can buy and lease it out. So rental market, I think we need some sort of better policy around tenancy laws, right? Today it's very pro-tenant and anti-owner. So no owner would want to put out their apartment on rent. It's not that, it needs to be a little bit more owner-friendly, I would put it. And I think land attribution, especially ownership of land in the slums, if that can, slum lands can get freed up, I think there could be a good sort of a, environment where mid-segment housing can grow.
Yeah, I think, so you are advising people not to buy homes, so that will be a deterrent to the developer.
Yeah, I mean, frankly, if somebody is earning less than 12 lakhs, a family income of less than 12 lakhs, their quality of life will go down by buying a home.
Yeah, for the rental accommodation to pick up, I think the tenancy laws should be amended, but for your information, I think Government of India enacted a new law. Telangana government should adopt it. We already represented on behalf of NAREDCO Telangana to adapt the new tenancy laws. If that comes into force, then actually there will be level playing field for both the owners and tenants.
Absolutely.
So I'll now to move to Mr. Srinivas. Is demand end user driven or investor driven or a mix? And how is that mix changing post COVID?
Before COVID, the end user demand is around 70% and the investor demand is more, 30%. So a lot of people used to invest and give it on rent basis. But after COVID, everybody realized we should have our own house. So after COVID, the end user demand has increased by 10-15%. That means the end user demand gone up to 85%. The investor demand has come down to 20-15%. So these statistics we have collected from the existing projects of Nicola Constructions, then we are presenting the figures. And moreover, not only after COVID, so everybody thought they should have their own house. Not only having one house for the stay, people want to have their own address to create their documentation also. Lot of individuals used to come and talk to me, whoever staying on the rental basis, whenever they want to vacate the home, they have to change their Aadhaar, passport, driving license, everything. That is making a lot of problems. So that is the reason also, people, why can't we have a own house? So that is why people started investing for the end using. That is the second cause. And the third cause, the down payment patterns also changed a lot nowadays. So it has come down from 30-20% to 10-5% also. That also made easy to buy home. So end users, whoever staying on the rent, started instead of having in the rent house, better to have our own house, and started investing in the housing. So if the customer or the person, individual who have 5 lakhs on hand can buy easily a home today in the suburbs. If the flat cost is 1 crore, 5% down payment, 5 lakhs if you have, a small payment can buy a home today. That is how home buying scenario changed and the end user market has gone up like anything.
A bad sign. Because if investors are in the market, actually rates will go up.
Investors are also there, but little percentage has come down. So end users also will increase because earlier all are combined families. Now surprisingly we have seen lot of records. Before marriage, people who got job started investing on their home first. Both that boy and girl are coming together and searching the home, together investing and buying the home, before marriage itself. So I surprised looking at some cases. So that is the reason also the end user houses are, the percentage is increasing. So whoever comes and buy, the sales are increasing, whether investor or end user. So end users are also increasing because now we are getting all nuclear families. So sales, there is no problem at all. The infrastructure businesses keep on growing.
Thank you. Let us hope actually the investors also will start coming back into the market.
So after lot of pre-sales projects, the investors are little calm now.
Thank you. So I'll now to move to Mr. Mahesh, Director Meenakshi Projects.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, Mahesh, do you see Hyderabad behaving differently from other metros when it comes to housing demand? If yes, how?
Sir, so when I was invited to speak on this panel and the topic was mid-segment housing versus premium, I think it's basic luxury, luxury and ultra-luxury in Hyderabad. There is the whole concept of...
Basic luxury means LIG?
Sir, I wish it was that, but unfortunately, basic luxury has almost become 3,000 square feet, like Ajitesh was saying. Then mid has become somewhere between 5,000 and 6,000. And ultra luxury, you name the number. You can get an apartment for 15,000 square feet, 20,000 square feet. So now to answer your question, compared to the other cities, the people I meet within real estate, outside real estate, they're all just bewildered. They just can't understand the concept of 15,000 square feet apartment. And it's a foreign concept. Outside Hyderabad, any other city you go to, 15,000 square feet apartment, maybe there's one tower in the entire city of, say, Gurgaon or Chennai, say, back in the day, that would even think of, such a massive apartment. Now, coming to Hyderabad, okay, the price might not be, comparable to the other cities, but our living standards are high. So that's what you have to give in, and I think that challenges developers sitting on the panel, and I see some distinguished developers in sitting in front of us. It gives us various opportunities to challenge ourselves, to see how the trend is changing, and to evolve with it accordingly.
But premium housing is can only come up in certain very few pockets in Hyderabad.
Correct, sir.
But not everywhere.
Yes, sir. I mean, I don't think that will hold true for a very long time. I think as the city expands, a lot more beautiful parts of the city will come into, say, everyone's knowledge and attention. And I think the same premium housing can be replicated in other areas as well. And also, Sunil sir was talking about the GCC influx. So back in the day,
there is a mental bag for the people to pay that premium price in different locations, because for certain locations they feel this is the benchmark price. Though it is a premium project, they are not willing to pay that extra price compared to the premium locations in Telangana.
Agreed, sir. But so, for example, a hypothetical situation, if a developer was doing a golf course project and now he charges a premium price, which is still about 40 minutes, 45 minutes, I don't see any reason why he can't attract that kind of a premium price. So what are you doing different? Are you providing a specific sport-centered community with a lot more landscape that's available? A lot of developers are doing health-focused developments. So these kind of unique developments, considering they find the right parcels, they find, say, a mountain top property or something close to the waters, I think they can still very much attract those kind of premium pricing in other parts of the city as well.
Are you going to experiment?
I would love to, sir.
Okay. Again, I'll now to move to Ajitesh.
Maybe you'll find a lot of your customers here.
So what are today's buyers prioritizing more? That is location, size, amenities, brand, or future appreciation prospects?
I would say, see, if it's more end-user centric, which is what I think the market currently is, I think it's the earlier one. they are preferring better product quality. That is becoming the number one thing. Like if you look maybe, sir, 5 years back, ROI was the most important thing for people to invest. Now from ROI, it switched to product market fit. So product market fit, so is that house, whichever I'm buying, does it solve my daily life needs, and is it does it meet my aspiration? So product is the number one thing, then ROI has moved, and that's also a reflection that investors have reduced and end users have gone up. And moreover, I think even buyers are also slowly looking at end-to-end solutions. I think the days of real estate being a brick and mortar are slowly getting over, or maybe the end has begun, and real estate being a served space is something which is now taking origination. Like for example, at least the segments in which we operate, most of the buyers are newly married couples, like in early childbearing phase. So 35, 40 ankunte. So people are looking for good, not just does it have a crash or not, does it have a good crash service provider. So I think this entire aspect of serviceable real estate is something which is where the market is moving towards, because most of these people actually do not have time. And they want and also when they're using various other products in their life, everything happens at a click of a button. It's more convenient. I think real estate being served in a convenient manner is what the future is going to be. And frankly, I don't think people are really sticky with pricing in those aspects. Like if I'm getting a product which really suits me, I don't mind paying that extra 7-8%. So because people have that money, it's just that what do you say, that offering, can we bring it or not? And as a developer, the challenges for us is our supply chain has to increase. Today, it's not just about building the project in time, but making sure all these services that the sort of customers are getting is going to become more and more important.
I think you have touched upon a new point, that is quality, but I am of the opinion that customers are not, they are very price sensitive. When actually to make a purchase decision, they will more rely on the price of the product or per square feet. Whatever you give, they say they will appreciate, but they are not willing to pay that price. Is it true or not?
No, sir, it's changing. It's changing, and I think the advantage in that is developers can invest in that product and create that extra value. The challenge in that is how do we communicate this to customers? I think the communications, there is some work which sort of innovation which the sector has to do. But yeah, today if we can communicate to customers, they are willing to pay that.
So what is the extra communication we have to do to get extra price?
I think, see, one parallels we can take is from the mobile manufacturers. You look at Apple, Xiaomi, the way a new product comes, the CEO goes and explains it out very detailedly, what we call product tear down on Tamo. So we also have begun doing it, it helps us. So I think a similar thing what we can do, because see, most buyers today are very aware buyers, have knowledge. So if you explain them more about the product, like for example, fire system, etla ban chestadi building lante, they are willing to listen.
We will not meet all of them, no? Marketing team will meet them. We will not meet all of them.
But yeah, see, with marketing team, it is not going to happen. We ourselves have to get into it. And the good thing is that technological tools available. We can make one video and put it out on YouTube. Millions of people will see, right? Versus a marketing person will only tell somebody who comes to the site. But imagine people who will see the video and come to the site. So there are tools available. We just have to probably get in that direction.
Yeah, I think for the benefit of developers, these two aspects, I think please make a note of it. Quality. So quality is very important for every product, and so people are willing to pay the price. I think you need to experience that. For the benefit of all the developers, I will suggest all of you to see the presentation given by Ajitesh in our artificial intelligence seminar. I think we have to learn a lot by seeing the presentation. How do you actually manage and monitor construction? That is available with the NAREDCO office. We can share with whomever you want. I'll next move on to Srinivas. Has affordability truly improved due to income growth and financing, or buyers simply stretching themselves?
Buyers are stretching. Builders are also stretching to provide attractive facilities, amenities, to resist the stretch of the buyers. So now the affordability is also gone up. If one small farmer sells 20 guntas land, half acre land, he is getting 10 crores. He can buy 4 flats. What he is doing? He is retaining 1 flat or 1 villa with him. He is sharing 2, 3 to their kids. If they have 3 siblings, everybody is getting 1. If 2, they are giving 1. And 1 they are also keeping for the rent. This is how a rural affordability also gone up. And the second thing, in the urban also, at the heart of the city also, whoever invested in the plots earlier or lands in the suburbans are getting huge money. So instead of combined living, now everybody is purchasing homes, flats, and giving to their sons and daughters. So that is how the affordability has gone up. And the other thing, because of the dual income, now everybody in every family, both are working. Because of the dual income also, the affordability gone up, the investments gone up, the infrastructure industry is getting good results. Third one, financial institutions, banks and NBFCs also, very liberalized policies are there, giving friendly home loans. Home loan rates have come down. And down payment is also, as I mentioned earlier, it has come down from 20% to 5%. And builders are also giving lot of schemes and announcing, oh, pay only just 10% now, balance during the handover, or during the completion of the 50% or 75%. All these friendly policies increased the affordability of buying the flats and homes, undoubtedly.
Are these available at Nikila Constructions?
NCD, yeah. This financial benefits we are passing, financial institutions benefits we are creating awareness to the customers, but not the other facilities. 2050, 2080, 50-50 we are not giving.
So Srinivas' entire domain is in Mokila. I think you have to see his projects to believe his passion for quality and delivery on time. Congratulations. Yeah, Mahesh, is the mid-segment buyer upgrading expectations closer to premium standards? So how is this impacting product design?
Sir, interesting question. So I don't think that's only a requirement of a mid-segment buyer. I think any buyer there is in the market always wants a lot more out of their product. If they are in the, say, if they're in the 1.5 crore bracket, they want a product that's closer to 2.5. That's the reason, they often stretch. If they're 2.5, they stretch. 5 guys they stretch. Everyone stretches. Yeah, to answer your question, it definitely betters the entire product development and the entirety of things that are associated with it, sir.
So is it suggestible for a mid-segment buyer to move to premium segment? Because he suggests actually that they should not buy at all, they should go for leasing.
Sir, I also agree
That
with...
is sub-mid, sir. That is lower to mid.
I also agree with Ajitesh, but the unfortunate fact, right, like all of us like to stretch. When are you ever happy with what you can afford? You always want to push yourself and, you want to get more out of life. So, and that's an obvious fact. Any buyer that comes want a little bit more, and it's our duty as developers to convince them that they need more than, what is required.
Convinced to stretch or live within their means?
Sir, their financial means are up to them to manage, sir. We can only push them, and if they can afford it,
our
they should
side
go.
of the story. Their side of the story, they'll have to plan.
Yeah, so, but on a serious note, I think the competition is good in the city right now in terms of all the segments of housing. So the buyer by itself is spoiled by choice. He can pick the development that suits his family for the next 5 years, or how he sees his kids evolve over the next 5 to 7 years, which areas the schools located in. So the buyers are not, limited to a few developments. They have a bouquet of 15, 20 developments to pick from. They are spoiled for choice, and they cherry pick exactly what they're looking for, what suits their price, as well as the rest of the things that are going for them in life.
Thank you. I'll move on to Jitesh. There is another question, but I think I would like to throw a new question, that is, what is the effect of artificial intelligence in construction industry? What is your suggestion for the developers actually, where they have to start implementing or following or using these techniques in artificial intelligence?
Sir, I think the technology can be greatly leveraged on the entire supply chain aspect, and with respect to engineering, with respect to customer acquisition. So we can use these technology to greatly, I would say, at least, I don't know if we can reduce costs. At least at our company, we have seen that we are not able to significantly reduce costs, but you're able to significantly control your scale. So let's say last year I was operating 100 square feet, tomorrow I'm operating 500 square feet, it's not at all a problem. It's very, very simple and easy. And I think eventually, maybe 10 years, as the data gets accumulated, there'll come a day that with so much data in the model, like none of us need to know any construction. Just like how you put me cinema chuvalante, nobody goes to the theater. You go like Amazon, Prime or Netflix ke letla chustamo. Tomorrow you just get a land and you arrange finances, you access the cloud, it will build out for you. It will have all the last mile knowledge of which day, what exactly people should do. If rain fell yesterday, what should happen tomorrow, everything it will know. So that in that way what will happen is you will have one big mind which people can usually leverage. So anybody who have access to land, access to capital and access to good design thinking can essentially get into construction. You do not have to worry about engineering. That is the eventual future, maybe 15, 20 years or maybe 10, 15 years. Ideally the faster we go, the better it is. That's what's going to happen. That on the supply chain side, right? And naturally what this will do is it will make sure a lot, like quality will definitely go up. And the wages in the industry will go up, because for all, like construction industry being one of the biggest contributor to the GDP, the one sad story of the industry has been investment in human capital. As an industry, our investment in human capital compared to our peers in high-tech manufacturing or tech overall is very, very low. I think that's going to be a key pressure point. Now we will see a lot of developers increasing the capex on human talent, and we are going to have the best of the talent come work in the sector. What it will do from the aspect of sales, right? I get asked this question quite a lot of times. It is going to hugely increase sales, right? I'll again also reiterate, all this AI boom in the world is going to increase housing sales. I'll even explain the reasons also. See what essentially, so if you look at any economy or...
No, do you mean to say because of AI sales will increase, or by using AI developers can increase sales?
Both. So by using AI, naturally that's your supply chain. You will be able to get customers better than your competitors. But given that so much AI wave is happening all over the world and we see so many job losses, what will the AI impact on the economy, like AI impact from a housing consumption be? Like what will happen to our buyers? So the buyers are going to absolutely increase, because let's take for example the top 5-6 cities in India. The people who are buying houses are essentially the top 3% of the economy. That's it. So what is AI going to do? AI is going to increase the productivity. That means yesterday I was doing, maybe I am a lawyer, right, and I'm giving 10 opinions a day. Now using AI I'm going to give 30 opinions a day. The minute I give more opinions, my earning goes up. So AI is going to increase productivity. Increase in productivity, it's a common known phenomenon of labor economics. Increase in productivity will rise to increase in wages. So if people start earning more money, naturally their consumption, so whenever people, and this is going to happen not uniformly across the labor, across the workforce. This is going to happen in the top 3-5% of the workforce. The top 3% of the workforce of the nation is going to get more productive. More productive means more increase in wages. More increase in wages means more consumption of real estate. I think there will be stress on products not linked to real estate much, which more cater to, I would say, entry stage consumers. There will be some stress there. But real estate is something we cater to the premium end of the consumers, like the top 3% of the economy. So AI wave, the next 20 years, or maybe 10 years, we can say. After that also there will be something new, we don't know what it is. But it's going to significantly impact the consumption of housing in the positive direction.
So what is your advice to the developers? How actually they will be able to start using AI?
See, two things I can suggest. One, creating the model is going to be very expensive. You can simply subscribe to our model. That would be relatively easier. We have done all the hard work, so you can do that. But yeah, frankly, creating another model is going to be very, very expensive because it's years and years of data.
Yeah, definitely.
But the good thing is, let's say that if developer A building versus developer B building, actually it's not too much different, it's reasonably same. So one, like somebody figured out the model, then I think the better thing is probably subscription of the model. People can subscribe the model, it has all the intelligence. So I think what developers can simply subscribe and rather work on the front end aspect. Like now that I have a model in place, how can I make my engineers use the model? That I think is a more important problem which developers need to be working at.
So when it comes to subscription, I think if you verify in defense, actually our defense expert says the best of the technology will not be given to India. So how do we rely on the subscription? Will you give the same?
This is so made out of Hyderabad, ikkadne. So the best will be given to our people. Absolutely. Because I think maybe, I don't know, at least one vision with that is maybe 15 years from now, you might be building in Europe, you might be building in America, you might be building in Saudi Arabia, but the brain behind building it will be from Hyderabad. Engineers will be working in that country, but what to build, what to do, it will all be from here.
I think an excellent analysis. I think 100% agree with this. So because of AI, sales will increase. For real estate, I think most of the customers our customers will be only about 15 to 20% of the elite earners in this segment. About 50 to 60% may not be our customers.
Correct.
Is it true?
Correct. Like anybody who is outside who belong to the 95 percentile or 90 percentile of the economy, broadly speaking, cannot buy a house for various constraints. So, and even if you see, a lot of the supply is also coming for the top 10. And this is nothing new to India. It is there all around the world. See, broadly speaking also, sir, if you look, India is what, like 65% rural and 35% urbanized. Right? So 65% of the people live in villages. So villages, there's a different housing program, government housing programs and all. So there is some sort of housing solution. The main pain point is coming in the cities. In the cities, the top 5-7% ki private sector is providing solution. The problem is coming somebody who's from the 66th percentile to 95th percentile. Ikkada I think some more reforms on tenancy laws and especially ownership attribution in slums and all. Because we don't have a land problem. We have good amount of lands in the city which are in slums. And slums have very, very low FSI. And good thing is we have high FSI, so we can use it. The problem is ownership attribution. If ownership can be attributed in the slums, then I think we are looking at another major wave which we will be able to house all the people in our cities, or majority number of people in our cities.
Thank you. So Srinivaskar, is premium housing less price sensitive but more inventory heavy, while mid-segment is faster churn-out, margin tight?
Yes, sir. The premium segment is very less price sensitive because their quality, luxury and the facilities matters. Price doesn't matter. So people look at the project and what kind of material you are using, what kind of facilities you are giving, what are the upgradations you are doing in the investing project. All those things only matters for them. They are not much worried about their price. But whereas it is heavy in view of the builder to keep bigger units on the hand. The affordable, mid-segment, mid-units can sell faster, but the margins are very, very thin because the price is very, very competitive.
మీ మార్జిన్స్ బాగానే ఉన్నాయి కదా.
We are getting very, very less margin, sir, but saleability is very good. So we are giving almost, even though ours is mid segment, we are giving almost premium quality there, which is not lesser than the heart of the city. That is why we are able to manage the show. So, but the saleability is good when we take care of the minimum facilities, like, because today every person want their kids to be comfortable. They want swimming pool, they want play area, children play area, they want senior citizen area, they want banquet hall, they want home theater, everything they want.
With free maintenance.
Yes, with free maintenance. If you give all these facilities only, even though it is mid-segment, we can sell. That is why we should be competitive with the premium segment. We have been giving all the facilities. There we are draining out our margins. We are doing business with very, very, very small and thin margins. But only thing we are happy, we are able to sell the product. So as Mr. Ajitesh said, there are some shortage of mid segment supply. And one more thing, even though it is mid-segment, we are constructing in the suburbans, it is almost urban living only. With the radial roads, extended radial roads and our ring road, almost we are giving premium housing at affordable pricing.
Yeah, I think on this aspect I will also agree. The margins are very less other than developers. I think for your information, the margins for developers in Hyderabad is very, very low compared to the land price.
Landowner's business is the best here.
So if you compare actually the selling price, say in Bangalore, compared to the land cost, and the land cost here versus selling price, the margin is very, very thin. I think developers, if they are not vigilant, they will lose money in a project, even after they were able to sell it easily. So Mahesh, I'll move on to Mahesh. Are developers consciously moving up the value chain, or is the mid-segment still the volume driver?
Sir, I'll just seeing the audience, I see them wearing out a little bit. So I'll keep my answer as short as possible and as quick as possible.
Sunil, you can stop us whenever actually it is time.
Sorry, in answering that, I forgot your question, sir, if you don't mind repeating it.
Are developers consciously moving up the value chain, or is the mid-segment still the volume driver?
So developers are definitely moving up, the whole value chain because of the competition around. Everyone sees there's reasonable money to be made in good development projects. So because of the influx of the new developers and the existing developers upping their game, and you have over 15 developers or 20 developers in Hyderabad that have been in business for more than 25, 30 years old, 20 years old, like Srinivas Garu. Ajitesh's family has been in business for many, many decades. So it's just a sense of competition. When you have competition, you are forced to up your game, which is ultimately a great product for the customer that is coming into their final home. And to answer your mid-segment game, I think it's pretty much the same. Like, if you're competing with 10 other developers, every day you're waking up thinking, what am I doing different? How am I giving my customer a better product? Why should a customer pick me over the 5 other developments? Are you giving better efficiency? Are you saying my loading is 60%, whereas someone else is saying my loading is 64%? Are you able to tell your customer that you have 4% space, more space in my space than any other apartment that you're going to? Are you telling them I have a bowling alley in, the clubhouse? Do you have one? These are questions I think that challenge us as developers. These are the questions that we like to sleep to every night and wake up with an aha moment once in a while. I think it's a healthy competition. I think that's exactly how every business should be.
So, what is your advice to developer? They should actually go for only premium segment, or mid-level segment?
My advice to developers is if you have money, just keep your money. Don't start anything right now. Just ride out the wave and, just give it out to people who are taking it at 18, 20%. See your money grow. And then the time will come when the market is low and then you should probably step into the business.
So yesterday we were in Telangana Secretariat, and actually I told them developers are struggling in Telangana, and we are not getting, there are no margins in business. So he's saying, no, you are all bluffing. Why actually people are buying land at 170 crores? Why actually so many people are running to us for permissions if there is no market?
Sir, I mean, so you see the buyers, right? Like, the profile of the buyers, it's very few of them are, say, a natural chain of development in the last 10 years, and those are the ones that are buying. A few odd exclusions, obviously. Someone who has, made excess amount of money in other businesses that obviously want to set up another vertical. These obviously become landmark projects, and how do you make a name? You want to make a big announcement, and I think it's the way it should be. If you have the money, you should probably buy the biggest, the biggest land, biggest car, and that's how everything works.
Sir, inkoka reason ante manam developers ki pan tapti inko tellis sir. Right? So, I mean, I don't think all of us, like second generation, probably 20, 30 years into this, family legacy, while if I'm not doing this job, I don't know what job I'll do. Frankly, I don't know anything. So I think that also is putting a pressure on all of us, that because khaliga tundalem. So andukani edo okati pattukoni atla pani nadavali, we have to
We got addicted to this. We got addicted.
It's an addiction, and whether we make like just like our movie guys, whether they make money or not, you'll have producers still doing
like contractors. Like contractors.
Ade man dagara
It looks like AI, Ajitesh. Please teach us also. You don't know how to implement.
Sunil, can we take another set of questions or? Okay. Now it's open for Q&A. So you introduce yourselves and actually say to whom the question you are addressing to. క్వశ్చన్లు అడిగితేనే సెషన్ బాగున్నట్టు, ఎవరు క్వశ్చన్లు అడగకపోతే చాలా డల్గా ఉన్నట్టు.
My name is Mohammad Budassir. I'm from Media Day Marketing. Actually, I'm not from the construction side, but we do the professional B2B exhibitions relevant to the construction industry, which is doors and windows. It is happening in Bangalore next June. Actually, my question is to not only one particular speaker. My question is to all, like here, all builders and developers only, an architect. So the buildings what we are constructing in India now, the central government or all of us, we are facing lots of eco kind of issues. So what we are doing for the eco-friendly buildings, like there is many technology has come.
Sustainability?
Sustainability, yes. Like BIPV, if you build 10 floor or 10 story or 20 story mid type of buildings, so we can utilize BIPV technology or some other technology which is produce power and all. So the sustainable buildings, what we are doing, because as we heard about, like we are the second and third largest market, but what we are thinking about those areas also. I just want to know the key players.
I think if you are aware, there is Indian Green Building Council is there, headquartered in Hyderabad, which is giving certification for certified green buildings. In terms of green building footprint, we are number 2 in the world. So India is number 2 in the world. Very, very soon we will surpass even US also in terms of certified green building. But this has to be percolated to type 2, type 3 cities. There is awareness among buyers and developers in major capital cities, but the awareness is not there among type 2, type 3 developers, architects also. So we are moving in a right direction. I think most of the people. So I did a project called Green Grace. So that was the platinum pre-certified project. There is a definitive advantage for a developer going for a certification. But the more demand has to come from the buyers. So buyers should start actually asking the developers, is it a certified green building? Are you following the sustainable practices or not?
No, if we promote sustainable buildings, then buyer will know, because people, as you know, like people are not aware about the sustainable buildings and all. And I was heard about, like earlier, it was in our event, we invite all the builders also. So one of the builder was told me, like we have only 4 projects in India, which is sustainable building. It is certified with IGBC or government bodies also. Only 4 projects, and you're saying we are the second. So
No. I think it is very wrong. I think you can see the data. Hyderabad, I can say about 80% of the commercial complexes are certified, either by LEED or IGBC. Most of the Aparna, all their projects are certified. Most of all their projects are IGBC certified. Most of the developers are following these concepts.
Most of, just to answer your question very quickly, most of the office buildings in Hyderabad, we have Mr. Piyush from Salarpuri as well. So any global tenant that's coming in will not come into a building that's any less than LEED Gold certified. And the LEED Gold certification itself is a very controversial topic. We can have a side conversation about it. Not one guy ever steps into your site to see what you're actually doing there. It's just paper submission, paying the fees, and you get it. But irrespective, we are all doing our bit to get the accreditation, and we are doing our basic services to make sure standards are met.
government officials should be in this conference. We are missing the government officials.
Mike second row Ayamma. Even though we are building the apartments in green zone, green island, Mokila is a green island. Even though we are building in the green island, we have taken green certification from IGBC. Every builder now started following and taking green building concept approvals and certifications. Most of the builders.
My name is Shiv Kumar Rungta. I'm past president, Chamber of Commerce at Sea, and I run a toughened glass and safety glass manufacturing unit in GD Metla. So it's not a really question, it's a kind of an observation. It's an excellent discussions here we have held, creating value beyond the square feet, as Mr. Jitesh said, that builders and developers are now creating extra value rather than selling only square feet. Like he gave the example of having, crash and other facilities. And even we, in our business for last 7-8 years, we have observed that the promoters and the developers have started using the premium products, and they are focusing on, premium apartments like DGU glasses and various kind of value-added glasses. So, thank you very much.
Yeah, I think we can proudly say that developers in Hyderabad, even compared to Bangalore, are using the best available specifications, even though they are actually getting lesser margins. So the specifications in Telangana, in Hyderabad, is a lot more, I think, better than the specifications that were used by brands in Bangalore.
Absolutely, sir. Actually, I recently visited Singapore, downtown, forgot the name, that Orchard Street area. Because of the location, the cost of flat was 150 crore, but in the bedrooms they used a tile, 2x2 tile, 150 crore flat. So, sorry? No.
Yeah, my name is Ravi. I'm one of the panelists anyway in the subsequent discussions. I'd like to ask one question to all of you, since you're all experienced builders, and a lot of other builders are also here. My question is with reference to value beyond the square foot, and I see from the discussions, I get a feeling from the discussion that there is a struggle with reference to sellability and availability of different kind of variety kind of products. Now I come to a question now. When you talk about the value, creating a facilities inside the towers like swimming pool, etc. There is a honeymoon period for everybody, because I keep talking to my friends who are from the IT industry. They have taken with so much of hype on having a swimming pool inside the gated boundary. And the honeymoon exists only for 1 year, maximum 1 year. After that, it becomes usual for them. So they don't enjoy it much than what they have seen when they enter into the premises. That's one. Now we are also talking about, me personally, I am working on something called security provision for the buildings. You are today providing security once the construction is complete. And in the architect cycle and urban planners society, there is a new concept which is coming up, which is in terms of creating autonomous kind of autonomicity for the user to relate himself to the space where he is occupying. Context gets updated. It is becoming more intelligent in terms of how he is occupying the space and how he is enjoying the space, how he is dealing with the space. Is he really enjoying, or is he trying to alter that? And there is one more concept called CPTED, CPTED, which is nothing but providing security while designing itself, not post to the design. Design process itself get involved with CPTED, we short name we call it as CPTED. It is 3.0. We are trying to add it to 4.0 in terms of digital inclusivity.
Sir, me question.
Yeah, I'm coming to that.
Yeah, because
I'm coming to that because these are concepts cannot be given in just one question. But these are concepts needed to be understood by everybody, not necessarily the builder, even the technocrats. So do we see that as a value which is going to bring more sellability to your products if you innovate more, or rather add more of these kind of additions into the build spaces based on the user context and user behavior in terms of
see, definitely, I think, in fact, with TIAB only we were in sort of a discussion. There's a lot of surveillance technology which we can use in maintenance phases, right? So, majority of the cost during the maintenance period goes towards housekeeping and security. Like these two combined is almost all, if I'm not wrong, 70%. So, you can, like we have begun experimenting with robotic dogs. So, it will walk on a fixed path around the community and then it can do the surveillance. And same time, whether the cleaner has cleaned it or not also, we are trying to overlay that such use cases. In fact, corridor there will be Mirinda Gunner design loni embed cheyalani. One such approach is CCTV cameras. Generally, we have it only in the lobbies and all. Now we have increased it like 5x in corridors. Like now in tower area, the gray area is less than 0.7%. So 99.3% of the area is covered by the surveillance camera. So essentially, it's computer vision architecture. You can write like additional software layer on it, which will tell, see, the big problem is, did the housekeeper clean that or not today? This is where the challenge is. Now for somebody to check, like in any normal housing, gated housing project in this side of the city, each project has anywhere close to 150 to 200 corridors in a day which gets cleaned. How do you know at a human level, is that cleaned or not? So you can use the CCTV surveillance where we are seeing that, okay, did that person come there or not? Did he do the respective action or not? There are such applications which can be explored. In fact, a good solutions lie for all of this in the defense tech actually. Defense tech has done a lot around surveillance, which I think real estate, particularly in the maintenance domain, can take and learn from it.
Thank you, sir. Now it's time to give a gratitude from FTCCI of FTCCI to please come on to the dais to present memento to Mr. Vijay Sai Meka, President, NAREDCO, Telangana. I request Mr. Chalapati Rao from NAREDCO to please come on to the dais to present memento to Mr. Ajitish, founder and CEO. Next, I request Mr. Shivakumar Rungta, past president of FTCCI, to please come on to the dais and present memento to Mr. Srinivasa Rao, managing director, Nikila Constructions and Developers. Thank you, sir. I now invite Mr. Jitendra Kedia, member of FTCCI Infrastructure Committee, to please present memento to Mr. Mahesh K, Director, Project. Mr. Srinivas Garmilla, Vice President of FTCCI. Sir, also to Piyush from Satwa Group. Thank you, sir. I request Kripa Srinivas Sharma Garu to please come on to the dais. To Vishnuvardhan Kedia too.
They are looking at apartments or villas or this thing is different from where their parents looked at it. Today, let's say light from how they get to know a project. Earlier, parents used to get to know, word of mouth used to play a very important role. Today, with internet and social media being widespread, so all the data is available on the internet. They are well researched, they know why, how, exactly everything. The basic things that they are well researched about. Now they are coming to understand what extra other than them. What difference that project is making compared to the competition, and what difference in terms of the pricing. Earlier this pricing was the first one. Then everything else followed. Right now pricing discussions happen as the last. First everything else, amenities, XYZ, what is different. Whether, again, somebody mentioned the green building, 4 or 5 projects, but I think today 80%, all those things play a very vital role in deciding about what product and which product and why. And that's why it's different from what they
know exactly what they want.
There is one more observation I've been observing since last 10 years. The shift in the area. Earlier the parents and their brothers and the family used to stay in the same area. Now when the youth is coming forward, the area is also changing.
Yeah.
What do you have to say on that?
So I think they need their space as well. While they appreciate their families, they reserve that for the weekend. So they would want to go for that as an outing. And then right now, as the previous panel has also mentioned, it was more of a joint family setting previously. Right now, it's more of a nuclear family.
Nuclear setup.
I just want to add something to that. I think also the sort of assets that the 25 to 35 kind of putting into has also changed. Like before, the older generation or the elders generation, it was always about first buying a apartment or a home, and then it would be something else. But now people are also open to a lot of variety of products, from farm plots, commercial, and also people are now investing a lot into stocks in the 25 to 35 bracket as well. Again, we don't want to talk about that because we want to talk about land and assets, but that's also a huge investment class as well.
Yeah, no gold and silver talks.
People are talking of copper as well, I mean.
Yes. So next question would be, are the youth really looking for living, or are they more of investing, or they are flipping? They're entering the projects at a very early stage, maybe during the permission stage, and then later flipping, or is it for the real need, or is it just for investment?
So in Hyderabad currently, about 60% of the new inquiries are coming from people who are 35 and younger. So right now what they are looking for is more of an end user product. What they want is a lifestyle centric developments. They're not looking for like 4 walls with as much square foot as possible.
Is it more of a statement?
Yeah, because like they want lifestyle centric, they want more amenities, they want to invite their friends over, they want to show their community, spend some time, and that's where it is. So they are not focused more on the address per se too. They are willing to go like 5 or 10 kilometers farther, but they want more amenitized, community driven, which has good facilities and services and their age group. That's what they're preferring more.
Vishnu, what's your opinion?
If I would like to add what Abhilash ji just said, people not only 5 to 10 kilometers, but I've seen people having the businesses in Kompally still moving to the west just because of the statement, as you mentioned. It adds a statement to their address. Everyone wants this address to be a statement now, rather than just a place.
So youth is dominating, unlike traditional practice.
Yes.
Also, during the project cycle, a preference of a youth can change. They might have bought it for an end use, but they see they get a better return, they like something else, they will sell out, they will go. So they are like, so he mentioned that they are not emotionally connected to the apartment.
Yes.
It is about that particular point of time, what they like and what is their preference. The preferences can change over a period. A normal real estate project takes between 4 to 5 years to do. They might have booked for end use at the time of sanction or at the time of launch. During the course, it can change and they are ready to shift. They are not emotionally connected.
I agree to you, Piyush, partially, not fully. I see a lot of buyers, in fact, my lot of friends, they've been flipping properties because of the home loan facility and a lot of other facilities, like one of our panelists was saying 2080 scheme. So it's more of flipping also. As we all know, the youth is more smart.
See, flipping is always an option of end user.
COVID, we've really observed that amenities play a major role in decisions. So like I think a month ago, I was discussing with a customer, right? And so his only make or break for a project was that his son is training to be an Olympic swimmer. And our project need to cater to that. If it doesn't cater, it doesn't make the check, right? So I think buyers are increasingly shifting towards having amenities no more as a part of that luxury segment. It's more of a basic necessity that we have to provide.
And it's a culture also which they are trying to bring up, and they're now spending time to use on that.
Right, so I think like we
before.
were discussing previously as well,
Yes.
usually they're making more time for their families. They're increasingly putting in that effort, so they don't want to have that hassle of having to travel outside every weekend just so they can play a pickleball game with their son. Right?
It's a culture shift as well.
Yeah.
So today customers are not asking whether you have a swimming pool or gym. That is basic necessity which they think it is part of, that is definitely there. They are asking, do you have a pickleball court? Do you have a paddle tennis court? So these new age games that are there.
So when the first notice hits, your GST compliance or your IT scrutiny or whatnot, that's when you start realizing the importance of all these things, and that's where the money is. So I would say initially on it is a headache, but like again what Piyush ji has said.
You know, eventually when we're all over here, most of us are grade A builders, right? Previously, 20 years ago, 15 years ago, we were also there. So we were C and B developers. And I think eventually you put in that effort, you put in that, you let your work speak for you eventually. The quality, the location, that's what really matters. And obviously, yes, we're in that day and age where the brand name gets you more deals when it comes to larger clients in the commercial sector, yes. But it's that trust factor and that human touch that actually make a lot more difference.
So do they survive?
Well, I think they do. But then that's also subjective to which location, which market, which segment you're talking about, and the niche that they're focusing on.
You have to add anything?
I think that some would survive, some wouldn't, but...
I mean, I would rather think a mix, and it also really depends on which segment you're talking about, right? And which kind of a project that you're talking about.
No, it can be residential, it can be commercial.
Right, so I know JVs are doing pretty well right now in this market because obviously the costs have gone up as well, and allocation of resources is better that way too, but obviously
To achieve volume, yes.
Sorry?
To achieve volume,
Yeah.
JVs, yes.
But like he was just saying, there's cases where people don't get along together, so what do we do then? But really at the end of the day, it really is case dependent, but I think a mix of all is the most ideal.
Then moving to the most interesting part, sales strategy and future. So Vishnu, over to you. What's your sales mantra personally?
Sales mantra, it has to be more...
if you have been asked to sell 10 units tomorrow, what would you do?
The base for sales mantra today is, while designing the project, you need to keep in mind your target audience. And you need to design the project as per the client tone. And the next thing is transparency to the client is very important today. The more the transparent you are, the more the trust the client builds on you. And it is not just that one client, but he also gets in a lot of referrals for you.
So design sense and transparency is what you're saying.
I would put it this way. Try to communicate what the customer wants to hear rather than what you have. What he needs rather than what you are offering. I think this is the basic difference. If you are able to communicate what he needs, I think you have your sale there. And other than that, your relationship plays a very vital role in sales. I think these two things are the private.
With such high volumes, how many relationships?
Sorry?
Such a high volume game.
No, I think whether it be high volume, this thing, I think relationships you build over a period of time. You will get to know the customers. I think once you meet them 4 to 5 times, you will definitely get to, and over a period of 4 to 5 years, you at least tend to meet 50% of the customers, if not.
It's part of it, or?
No, on sales mantra.
So I think mine would be to really understand what my client wants, yes. And the second one would be to not oversell. Like, I would rather let my execution speak than rather conveying to the client that, you know, you need to buy this because we're developing it. Sort of that. And also one thing that I'd really like to add on the CPL point of view, I know that nowadays we're associating with a lot of third-party agencies for leads and quality leads, but I've personally noticed that when we do in-house, for example, let's say a Vamsiram or a Satwa, they do it themselves, the quality of leads is a lot higher. And our gold mine really is walk-in and referrals. For example, my existing customer goes and tells their best friend. So that's how it's...
But a lot of CP partnerships are happening, and a lot of third-party outsourcing is happening.
Right. Right, so I agree on that part, but to be very honest, we don't really work with a lot of CPs. We do it in-house. So I don't have a lot of knowledge on that front.
So your sales mantra would be in-house marketing, digital.
Right.
Great, great. So one big risk, one red flag during marketing, what do you see?
Overpricing and not really differentiating your product. Because right now everybody is offering pretty much the same flat sizes, the same thing. So how do you sell to your customer?
What do you say, Piyush?
Well, see, I think
Abhishek, I want to ask a question to Abhilash. Abhilash, you have done business in US and in Hyderabad.
Yes.
Tell me, what is the difference doing overseas and in Hyderabad? Policy-wise, construction-wise, technology-wise?
I think the main difference is the structure. Over there, it's much more structured, and you can expect timelines from everybody, and you can expect timelines from your architect, from starting from the architect to the construction. It's more timelines driven, and there's more structure. Over here, I think that's missing, but it's getting better. It's getting much, much better. It's much better than how it was 5 years ago too. So I think right now it's getting more structured, and I think we are at a phase where our market is getting more matured. Like US market is much more matured. Like that's why you won't see heavy swings. Over here, we already saw heavy swings, and now I think it's time for it to be more matured and more stabilized.
So our gratitude to all the panelists on the dais. I request Mr. Dasraj Reddy from Naredco to please come on to the dais to present the memento to Mr. Abhishek Tibriwala, advisor, FTCCI. Next, I invite Mr. Sunil Chandra to please come on to the dais to present the memento to Ms. Sohini, Director, Vamsiram Builders. I request Mr. Radha Krishna to please come on to the dais. Mr. Radha Krishna to present the memento to Mr. Piyush Agarwal. Piyush Agarwal, Head Business Development from Satwa Group. Next, I would like to invite Mr. Ravi Kumar from Naredco, Mr. Ravi Kumar, to please come on to the dais to present the memento to Mr. Vishnuvardhan Reddy, CEO and Director, Trankley Holdings and Projects Private Limited. I request Mr. Krishna Reddy, Mr. Krishna Reddy to please come on to the dais to present the memento to Mr. Abhilash Reddy, Director, Arya Group LLP. Request Mr. Sudhakar Reddy from Naredco, Mr. Sudhakar Reddy to please come on to the dais to please present the memento to Mr. Vishnuvardhan Reddy. Vishnu Kumar Kedia.
Sir Sridhar Reddy Garu has been just trying to tell the second phase of the real estate post 2012. The infrastructure development which happened that might be for that particular scenario, but the government, the people, developer, we never anticipated almost 10 times the growth of real estate, 10 times the growth, more than 10x growth of what was happening. And of course, it is constant towards the west, that is a different story. But as far as infrastructure is concerned, FSA concerned, one way it is advantage, but we are no way prepared. We are not prepared. For example, in this particular area, when the government, while giving the permissions, as we developers, we all acknowledge and know that we are first of all supposed to get an environment EC certificate, then a water feasibility certificate. Water feasibility certificate, it also includes the sewerage and drainage, and now they say, no, you're not supposed to let out your stormwater drain, and all these conditions are there, but are we prepared for that? So we construct huge buildings, and while abiding the EC terms and conditions, and we are greedy. We are greedy about FS and coming up with an vertical building. That's not good. We are nowhere close to what I dreamt about, and unless until we move away from this and get into better area like a planned cities, now we of course cannot be done, but still the government has a scope of looking into the common infrastructure we are supposed to provide to the offsite. So that is my view, and we are nowhere aligned. As on date, we are nowhere aligned. Even if you talk about a suburb, forget about cities, if you talk about suburban areas also, government is not at all concentrating on development roads, the approach road, like Saigaru has said, the approach road should be given, the approach drain should be there, approach power should be there. And at what cost? A huge cost. It's no less than a circus, international circus, Roman circus and all, let's not quote, but otherwise it's not good. Government should, when you're talking about affordability and developer is squeezed like anything. Developer is not, we appear to most of the time, that is the reason I wear my blazer all the time. People know when we remove our blazer, it's all holes. Upar sherwani, andar pareshani. So this Hyderabad is a common thing for all of us. So government should pitch in here. They should listen to us. And also at least time of construction power. Construction power is nonsense. You use, you don't use. For example, in lean periods, if you're not, the construction is hard, still they come and issue a bill. So I need to drive an auto or rickshaw in the night and pay the bill while my business is not running. So these kind of things, through Narite Code, we are addressing, but these are the challenges. It's not in the city, but semi-urban and villages also is happening.
So your view is that the development that are happening and the infrastructure is not ready to take the pressure of the real estate development that is happening?
See, you're also a developer, I am also a developer. For us, expansion of business is important, no matter what. But government should also, first of all, realize the real estate people are the largest contribution to the GDP. And as far as employment is concerned, we are contributing like anything. For example, when we construct a building, we are the top taxpayers. Your building taxes, we are the top payers, the taxpayers for them. We are contributing a lot to them. In such case, they should have minimum empathy towards this sector. They should first say, it's not, now they're talking about first, which is almost away from the city. I don't know when people start migrating, it's like people migrating that place. What about people already existing here? So in such case, my suggestion is like, you concentrate on these areas, especially the outer ring road. You have an outer ring road, but what about your service roads? Can you people go and just drive on service roads full of potholes, no streetlights, no safety? How many casualties are happening, how many incidents are happening. So that is not right. So keeping all these challenges, we can't call this a developed city. So unless until you really address a common man's convenience, you can't call this a real estate development.
Thank you. So I think points well made, and I believe we have to address the issue much ahead before we go the Bangalore way. So now, my question to you, Mr. Ravikumar Reddy. Now, Musi River Development Front is one of the flagship projects of the current government, and I am told today there is a meeting happening at the Chief Secretary's office. Otherwise, some of the government officials would have joined us to discuss with us. So, large-scale urban projects like these, they change the entire city's character and, behavior of the city, and also realign the developments in a certain manner. So how do you see, and what kind of effect do you think this Musi riverfront development is going to have on the real estate space of the Hyderabad city?
Thank you very much. I'll split it into two, in fact. One is Musi and second is the policy mechanism in the state. For last 20 years, I've been observing various governments in Telangana or combined Andhra Pradesh. Policies are made at the whims and fancies of the leaders. Our leaders are supermen. So they create policy, assuming something would happen. I don't know what is that. I could never understand why such policy has been made. My take is, first, they need to create a process. They have to create a process. After understanding the output of the process, they have to create a policy. There is no policy without a process. So that's been the biggest trouble in our governance systems. Few years back, I have published an almanac, town planning almanac book, which is consolidation of all the GOs which are recorded for town planning and building regulations and so on. So that book is 4 years old, and new GOs had come in, and we have included GOs in our internal documentation. But when we reviewed that GOs while publishing, we saw a lot of GOs didn't have the act position. Many of them don't have act position. If you go to court and if you question that GO in a code of law, there is no supplementary act which is supporting that GO. That's been the biggest trouble for GO creation in this state, which I have been telling to a lot of people. Second, coming to Musi River development, Musi has been one of the biggest hurdles for city today, because after the construction of the reservoirs, which had virtually stopped sediments to come to downstream, the sediment blockage has created huge amount of trouble, because the water which comes out in the rainy season, because it's not a perennial river, when water comes out of the reservoirs, is a hungry water. It doesn't add any value except it flows just like that. But apart from that, off season, 100% of the water that you see in Musi River is nothing but wastewater, sewerage water, and industrial pollutants and so on. Over last century, Musi has been neglected by policymakers. It has formed the silt almost to 2 meters depth, and the silt was never cleared. Not even the engineering departments have tried to bother about leave the sediments in the beginning of the rainy season, so that some silt rolls away to downstream. Due to this reason, there is so much of problems that we have assessed. One is agriculture, which is happening in the delta region of city, which is outside. If you find any green leaves which is full of arsenal, mercury, and all other metallic impurities, which is detrimental to health of the citizens who are consuming it. But coming back to the government proposal of de-silting this, where are you going to post this silt? Where are you going to find the sites to post this? So much of, some 18,000 tons of estimated silt. Where are you going to leave that? Where are you going to find the site to leave them? That's another big challenge. If it is within the city limits, you have to go for higher amount of measures, so that the same thing is not going to create problem to groundwater elsewhere. These are the problems that which we see as impending, and they are not fancy. Certain decisions are fancy anyway. There has to be a scientific approach in dealing with all of them. I don't see them. I don't see the traction with either the irrigation department or the polity.
But how do you think this particular development is, what impact will it have on real estate?
Yeah,
Will real estate benefit out of it?
Yeah, this would benefit because they're going to see a pleasurable environment like the one that you see today. You don't like to stand there. So once it is cleaned up, you tend to see some amount of riparian activity on the edge of the river, because you're going to get some water which is healthy for making local species to grow around. So you tend to have an inquisitiveness for people to go and stay more closer to the water body, because most people like to live near water bodies. That is a tendency. If you see Europe, most of the people try to live near the water bodies, but they try to be more closer to the water. I don't know what is the reason, but we also like it.
So we can hope to have some riverfront developments of residential, hotel, leisure.
Yeah, that's right. I agree. That development should not be like the one which you see in Thames or Seine River in France or Sabarmati. Sabarmati is a pool. It's not a flowing water. Same with Musi. It is not going to be a flowing water. You have to create bunds, store the water, and the water is going to be stagnant for quite a long time. But in case of Thames and Seine, they are perennial rivers. That's the difference.
Thank you. So one of the common statements that we hear from both within Telangana and outside, wherever we go, is that Hyderabad has got fantastic roads. It has got one of the best outer ring road, and it has opened up so much of land. But still, we see that development is concentrated. Why is it so? I think one of the reasons could be, is it that we are focusing more on mobility infrastructure than the social infrastructure? So Mr. Srikanth, what is your take on that? We don't see any public spaces, we don't see development of any, sewerage systems or anything. We just was recently asking me why there are no large integrated developments beyond LB Nagar on the Vijayawada highway. And during my conversations with people, what I got to know is that bulk of the lands on the Vijayawada highway have become plotting projects, and as a result of which you do not have any sizable land parcel for decent real estate development. So Sridhar Reddy garu, in this context, I would like to know, so this seems to be one of the constraints for expansion of the city horizontally and for development of large integrated developments. So do you think there should be any policy on giving approvals for plotting projects within a certain zone or a sphere or along the highways to allow for future development?
Yeah, Nandakishore garu, before answering this, I wanted to continue what our Srikanth Badiga said. When cities were built, for example, let's take Hyderabad itself. When Nizam wanted to build Hyderabad, first he built drainage system, rainwater storm system, roads, where the railway connectivity, MMTS, whatever we are using now, that was the... See, he has built all those things, then he has built the buildings. Now, forget about that. Now, what is happening after 1998? We have crossed Jubilee Hills, we have done Hyderabad. Hyderabad, we have first sold the lands, then wherever it is possible, we have done the drainage. Still today, we don't have proper drinking water, proper drainage, no storm water, zero. So same things is happening in everywhere. The continuity of high-tech city is gone to Neopolis, Financial District, Rajendra Nagar, everything is just, we are just selling the lands and whatever possible we are doing it.
We are not seeking accountability for the impact fees collected.
Yeah. See, we had another discussion about that earlier. Say, why I'm saying is, see, first the infrastructure has to be built. Then the supporting environment will come. As you were asking about the layouts and all, even for the layouts also we should have some accountability. Why will so much of area which is agriculture lands, which is very suitable for agriculture, people will do plotting. 120 kilometers away from the city also you can see the plotting. We are seeing those plots from past 30 years, and next 30 years nothing going to come. Same thing about the policy you are talking about. When you wanted to mix all these plots together, government bought a policy of amalgamation, but I think that has to be readdressed, and there should be some leverage for the plot owners to amalgamate those plots. They should get some benefit out of it, because anyway they don't have the roads now, they don't have any infrastructure in those areas. Those amalgamation of plots should be allowed, and that should be somewhere leisure. As per now policy, whatever policy is right now it is there, it says like, for example, you have a 10 acres of land, out of which you have 3 or 4 acres of roads, parks and all those things. So now you can take this 10 acres of land together, but you have to leave this 4 acres of land around the project. Instead of that, they have to come up with a different policy wherein all this area, whatever we have left for the roads, all those things can be created as a pool and do something else, parks or anything. But instead of living all around the project, it is useful only those projects. So some amalgamation of plot policy should come. We were, from NAREDCO, we were asking for amalgamation of policy for the amalgamation of plots and redevelopment also.
I think one of the challenge here also remains that you need to get the consent of all the plot owners, which seldom becomes possible because they will be scattered. You can't even trace many of them. I think this is where the Mumbai redevelopment policy has been crystallized, wherein they say that if you get 2/3 of the approval of the or consents of the members, then the rest of the 1/3 don't matter. Whether irrespective of their consent, you can still go ahead. I think maybe something like that can be brought in over here. Okay, so I'll now move to Vijay Sai Garu, and something which is very recent. So what do you think of the recent land transformation policy of converting industrial lands for multiple use, and how do you think it is going to impact, and will it really change the city's landscape, because bulk of the land seem to be in the eastern part and the, I would say, the non-western Hyderabad. So how do you think, will it change the landscape of the city?
Yes, I think this is like Tribhuvan area. This is another opportunity for the government to avoid congestion, to improve greenery in some of the locations. But one of the bottleneck I think we see, I think Mr. Sridhar Reddy also is one of the meeting. They're all owned lands. They are running the industries some locations, but in some locations there are no industries. So while government is asking them to actually move away from this and setting up the industry, there is cost actually to relocate and reconstruct the industry. And now actually they are also asking to pay some part of the, as per the card rate, that money. So this is a detrimental. This is definitely needed actually if you have to improve the quality of the air. Today there is a session in air quality index in Hyderabad. So it is so bad. Well, actually we are, even in World Economic Forum, some people commented, it's not tariff, it is the air pollution that is actually will impact the life of the citizens. So that is also more important. So moving them away from the city is important, but it is an opportunity for the government to improve upon the, or to reduce the density by having a plan there. And one suggestion we gave is, I think there is a serious scarcity of affordable housing. See, if government actually is giving opportunity for them to construct affordable housing without any cost, then actually that will reduce some burden on the government actually to provide affordable housing.
Okay, I think point well made. You're suggesting that the government should not be collecting conversion charges. Instead, you should allow them to do affordable housing.
That is my own land. I already paid for it.
Okay, well taken, sir. So, Ravikumar Garu, I think Vijay Garu was mentioning a while ago that irrespective of wherever you go into the city, the fees is more or less the same. except in some places where you have these impact fees and all that. So do you think we should have uniform regulations across the city like what we have today, barring one or two pockets like Jubilee Hills, etc.? Or do you think we should have a more region-focused development regulations to make the city well-developed and a balanced development?
Yeah, I agree for both of them, but especially for the city, there has to be a different policy which is going to retrofit the existing development into a workable model. How do you retrofit? You need a lot of introspection. Policymakers and researchers and developers, they have to come together, create a kind of forum where we discuss how the retrofitting is possible. As Sridhar Reddy Garu is saying, there are plottage has been done, some 10 plots or 15 plots in an acre. How to make them come together? Nandakishore Garu has mentioned about Bombay case. But can we create a democratic way of making them come together? That requires a serious policy. So I can't, one plot is already registered, and if I ask them to penalize, if I penalize them, I will not give you services. They is going to go to court and fight the case. But there has to be a policy, more of an incentive in terms of the frontage people would get less advantage, and the people who are behind should have some kind of subsidy advantage to come together. There has to be a what is called coin for them to say, yeah, it is advantage for me to come together with the people who are on the frontage. So that's the kind of policies to be drafted, more with the deliberation of how you see the people accept it. Because we have to see the acceptance of people as well. That's one. Second is, we are trying to do a research now on creating a model called NAN, Node Area Node. And in fact, I got a big presentation for that, but we don't have time to show that. So this model is going to create 3 levels. One is my services to be contiguous to all of them. So I'm not going to discriminate between either rich fellow or the poor fellow who is sitting in the city. It is contiguous services which are possible for them. Second, I have to create a process to execute that. Third, I have to create a constraint. My constraint is terrain. And Hyderabad is one of the advantage places to have such a living in terms of services should be actuated in a gradient manner. This is one of the biggest advantages for Hyderabad. You don't see that in any other cities. If flooding happens, entire Gurgaon gets flooded. If flooding happens in Bangalore, entire Bangalore comes for a halt. But in Hyderabad, if flooding happens, some part of the city is still living. That's biggest advantage for Hyderabad. In fact, we have done a study in ITPI on how to segregate city into multiple sectors so that if it rains, if the catchment of one sector is more in terms of creating flood, I can siphon it out to other sector where it is not raining much. We have given a mechanism into siphon the water out, more in a gravitational model. No power required. It is only the conduits required to make excess flood water from one sector to other. That's the advantage Hyderabad is sitting with, which is a very big advantage, in fact, compared to any other cities, any of the metropolitan cities in the country. So we need a push from policymakers, and we need a cooperation from developers. At the same time, we need sufficient amount of research to come together in solving these problems, to create more of a vibrant kind of development environment.
Thank you, sir. So, Mr. Srikanth, you've been quite forthcoming and critical in your views. So, one question to you. What is one hard decision the policy makers must take, even if it's unpopular, for the long-term health of Hyderabad city?
There are many, but I would like to restrict the present challenge, that is the traffic. Government should pitch in now and should come with a system that they should make the compulsory carpooling. They should make sure at least the main upstream, downstream areas to be restricted with some kind of toll kind of a thing, taxes that people can reduce. They should be tough on that, and also they should be strict with the citizens also, because it's a responsible citizen to maintain the infrastructure, basic infrastructure what have been applying. So these are the few things. I mean, there are many, but what immediately strikes me and where they could, government really starting to slowly say that yes, government is also tough, and it's not being tough with that, but it should make people understand, involved into it, and make themselves practice the good thing which should do good to the city.
Sridhar Reddy garu, quick one for you. Do you think developers are having enough say in the formulation of policy in the state of Telangana? Or what else should be done to improve that?
There are many hands saying from behind no. But the thing is, now, see, right now Telangana government is coming up with the new policy, new building bylaws, and new complete state master plan, and the net zero 2047. All these policies are framing up. I think this is the right time. The developers, developer community and infrastructure, all these people have to be involved. They shouldn't, see now in this technology age, they shouldn't hide anything. They should openly come up, nothing will happen. What will happen? We might say, see what has happened for the earlier master plans. The one master plan will show a house, other master plan shows us a road. And one master plan has a road of 100 feet, another master plan have another road adjacent to that. This was happened because there was no involvement of the bodies. We should involve so that all these people know a lot of things. Everyone has got, say, in this room, complete Hyderabad developers are there who are doing different parts of the city. So each one knows about each individual areas.
So do you suggest a joint representation by all the industry bodies to
We are giving it. We are giving it. Government also told us we'll have every quarterly meeting, and we have suggested, government accepted. They wanted to have every 15 days review meeting. But sorry to say, nothing has happened so far.
Yeah, also sometimes it so happens you give your views, but they never get incorporated. So the government is always of the view that sabki sunenge, apni karenge. Okay, Vijay Sai garu, in the same breath. So we have seen, like in government contracts, like you have qualification criteria, you want to do a 500 crore contract, you should be so and so class. If you want to do 1,000 crore contract, you should be so and so class. So we see qualification criteria everywhere, but when it comes to real estate developers, we don't see any qualification criteria. And earlier, at least, if you need to have either access to land or access to money to become a developer. But nowadays, with all these pre-launch schemes and all that, you don't even need that. You just need a good marketing guy, a good, social media connect, and you become a developer. And out of nowhere, you start doing a 50-floor building. So do you think it's time that we should pitch for qualification criteria, that if you want to do any building of this size, you should have this much of experience and expertise to do, or do you think that will kill entrepreneurship?
There is a builder license system.
But that I know, we all know it is a very routine thing. You just need a civil engineer on your rolls.
No, but when you say actually, if you say you need to have qualification, how do you get it? There is an entry barrier. Unless there is an opportunity.
No, let's say, I would say that up to 5 floors, you don't need any entry qualification. But you want to do anything beyond 5 floors, or let's say beyond 5 lakh square feet, you need to have this much of...
See, most of the times actually we will curse the government that there are so many regulations. So instead of that, actually we can have actually self-regulation among ourselves. And who is asking us actually to go and construct high-rise building in Patancheru? It is our greed. So I think recently when I attended one of the seminar, the fire DG, he said, whether you don't know or not, I have given NOC for 72 floor building in Gatkeswar, and not by any developer. A few of the retired employees got together and they applied for permission. They are constructing 72 floors. There is no sense to it. So the selling price there, the cost of construction.
We are just looking at it from a market perspective. I'm also talking from a perspective of safety. One thing goes wrong, the entire industry gets into trouble. So I'm looking at it from that perspective as well, because so many buildings are coming up.
Yeah, I think that is definitely bothering most of us. Even near my project, another tower came up actually with 45 floors. So 2-3 incidents actually the residents complained, saying that some of the walls they collapsed, some of the columns they collapsed, one retaining wall collapsed. So we are all worried, because if that is actually the safety aspect, if they are not addressed and they are not competent enough to construct, so it will be a serious issue. I think in those areas, I think some regulations can be there, but again we have to say actually whether we will be giving actually a scope for another scope of control by the government that we need to address.
So I think it's more of internal regulation and the developer bodies guiding the developers.
More than that, I think we can sensitize the customers actually who are buying there to actually verify the track record of the developer, his expertise in actually building huge complexes. One of the project, some architect identified land, he paid advance, he collected money, he paid advance. Then actually he verified that a road is going through the site. So that is the problem actually, if the people without any background came into this and started doing high-rise projects. I think we have to discuss among ourselves first before approaching the government. Then actually we should approach the government.
Ravikumar Garu, we have now so many, Hyderabad has seen apartments since I would say in early 90s, and many of the buildings have crossed the 30-year-old benchmark, and we also have like so many slums. So do you think it's time for the state to bring in a policy on redevelopment of both the slums as well as societies, just like the way we have in Mumbai? And
Yes, right, you're right. Hyderabad has reached a point, especially the central Hyderabad, needed to go for a huge rejuvenation process. And in academics, we studied a lot of subjects like, urban redevelopment, like urban renewal, I would say, the fancy word, the urban renewal. So we talk a lot about, how the urban renewal is possible, where it has been done in Manchester, how it has been done in New York. We study all of them, but we don't come across any such experience within India so far. And government should be proactive in looking at something like Amirpet area. It's so congested and FSI is also very high. But if you make them come together, you can make a wonderful place out of Amirpet. In fact, we can go vertical, FAR can be added, a facility can be given for them in terms of incentives for those sellers or the people who are maintaining shops over there. An entire neighborhood can be rebuilt in a much active manner. So I think there should be a policy from Telangana government now to go for a urban renewal kind of approach. Not only plots, building a plottage come together, but existing, or I would say, if I want to use the word, rotting neighborhoods. They should come together and somebody should convince them, give more incentives. At the same time, when we go for urban renewal, the people who are going to get displaced, who are the owners, they should be given contingency somewhere for a temporary stay. That kind of adjustment also needed to be done by government. That is a prerequisite anyway.
So one of the...
I wish to add, NAREDCO Telangana is conducting a workshop in March on redevelopment policy. In association with ITPA, we approached Devendra Reddy Garu. In fact, we are asking him since last 4 or 5 months. So finally he said we can do it in March. Then actually, depending on the policies of the other states, we want to actually submit a document to the government. There is a definite need and necessity. In so many areas, it is not a slum. Some of the projects in Srinagar Colony constructed 40 years back. They cannot live there. But if they construct now, they will not get what the FSI they have earlier. So because of the present rules. So,
So one of the interesting thing that I observed during my recent stint in Mumbai has been that one of the incentives for Mumbai societies to redevelop is because their earlier FSI consumption was around 1 or 1.5, and today they will be able to utilize around 3.5, 4 FSI in some cases. So what happens is that leaves something for the developer, and these people also get something, some increment over their existing homes, which are typically 600, 700 square feet. So they get a benefit, the developer also benefit. But I am just wondering what happens tomorrow, 30 years later, when somebody wants to redevelop in Kokapet or Neopolis, because you have already used 12 FSI. And so what you will be, in fact, you probably those times, at those days, the residents will have to probably reduce their, forego half of their space. So the 4,000 square feet flat which we were discussing a while ago will now become a 2,000 square feet flat, and 2,000 to the developer. So they will not be able to manage and maintain by then. And also what will also happen is that by then probably, unless the prices really support, I think it's going to be tough. And I think that is a real challenge. I think today it's more out of jest I am talking, but I'm sure this will become a reality I think say 20, 30 years down the line. So I think we have reached the time limit set for us, and now I would like to open the forum for a few minutes for a few questions. Yeah, for this gentleman, please.
My question is, what is the one change from developers or government, like policymakers, that can really improve the confidence of both buyers and bankers and sellers also from government policy perspective?
I don't.
I would like to invite Mr. Ravinder Rao to please come on to the dais to present memento to Mr. Ravi Kumar Reddy from the Institute of Town Planners, India, Telangana State Regional Chamber. Chapter. I request Mr. A. Prakash, who is a MC member of FTCCI, to please come on to the dais to present memento to Mr. Vijay Sai Meka, President of NAREDCO, Telangana. I request Mr. JVR Ravi to please come on to the dais to present memento to Mr. K. Sridhar Reddy, Secretary General, NAREDCO, Telangana. A big round of applause, please, to encourage. I now invite Mr. R. Venkateshwara Rao. Mr. R. Venkateshwara Rao to please come on to the dais to present memento to Mr. Moving on to the next panel discussion, that is on investment strategies and opportunities, Hyderabad 2034. I request moderator and our chairman of the committee, FTCCI Infrastructure Real Estate Smart Cities Committee, Mr. Sunil Chandra Reddy Garu, to please come on to the dais. I request the panel speakers also to please come on to the dais. Mr. Rakesh Reddy Garu, Director, Apanna Constructions. Mr. P. Srinivas Reddy, Executive Director, Raj Pushpa Properties Private Limited. Mr. V. Krishna Reddy. I request... Sir, I also request you to present plant to Mr. Rakesh Reddy Garu. I request Sridhar Reddy Garu to present plant to Mr. P. Srinivas Reddy. I request Mr. Vikram Dhaga to please come on to the dais and present plant to Mr. V. Krishna Reddy, Managing Partner, Sri Srinivasa Infra. I request Adi Reddy Garu. Adi Reddy Garu to please come on to the dais to present plant to Mr. Mahesh Wadala, Managing Director, HMDA Truck Duck Logistics Private Limited.
In the city, Srinivas Reddy of Rajpushpa Constructions, V. Krishna Reddy Garu from Srinivasa Constructions, and my friend Mahesh Wadala from HMDA Truck Dock Logistics. So, okay. Now, friends, now that I have MS Dhoni, Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli and Jasprit Bumrah, we will play a quick T20 match. We will not take too much time. After this, kindly keep this in mind. We have a very high tea provided for all of you. Kindly enjoy our hospitality and go. Please. Thank you. I know. We're grateful to everybody for them to be sitting here from 3 o'clock to right now. No, unfortunately, they don't allow any tea or coffee to be served inside the place. Otherwise, we would have loved to serve some tea, coffee here. Anyway, so quick. And so we are now talking about the 2034, where CM Revanth Reddy Garu has a very ambitious target of $1 trillion. We are right now at about $200 billion, so we have to grow 5 times in the next 8 years. So that's a very ambitious target. I will first start with Krishna Reddy Garu. Sir, is the CM's vision of a $1 trillion economy by 2034 achievable?
Sunil, you are talking about CM's vision of 2034 of 1 trillion. Actually, he has set a target of 3 trillion by 2047. So anyhow, we will start with 1 trillion. As you said, it is really ambitious and a daunting task. So for the coming years, as you said, we have right now, Hyderabad is...
Lovely. State has debt problems that has to be overcome. You're suggesting ease of doing business, you're suggesting innovation, you're suggesting rapid infrastructure growth. Fabulous, Anna. Thank you very much for those inputs. Srinivas Anna, when you imagine Hyderabad in 2034, what is the single structural change that will matter most for investors?
Good evening, everyone. See, any company that would like to make Hyderabad the destination would like to see their employees be happy. What's the one single reason any employee who goes to the office every day? The transit. For us to get to 2034 and be an international destination, the first thing we have to do is have the transit system throughout the city and not have a single CBD. Have multiple CBDs, have high value nodal areas wherein you have data centers, you have the logistics in one area, you have the IT, and grow different sectors in different areas, make different CBDs so that the employees, the to and fro, where they can have a productive lifestyle, wherein they can be productive to the company and they can spend enough time with the family rather than spend 2 hours every day on the road. So I would see that as a major thing by 2034, wherein our transit metro system, which we are looking at metro phase 2 and phase 3, and the regional ring road, which will help us to take the CBD from high-tech city, financial district, to all the parts of city and to make it easy transit.
Wow. So easy mobility is what you're suggesting. Thank you. Mahesh, before I come to you, Rakesh, we see Aparna constructions all over the city. Anyway, Rakesh, which infra initiative by the state government either the pharma city or the semiconductor hubs, future city or the transit corridors, offer the strongest compounding returns for the government in 2034?
Rather than trying to pinpoint any one particular initiative, I would say, just to frame it in a context, Hyderabad was earlier known as a software services city. Before it was the pharma city. Then it became the software services city, which is driving the bulk of the growth and revenue for the state. But going forward, it cannot depend on any one particular sector to be the engine of growth. It has to be a multi-engine growth for the city, which means pharma, which means IT, which means manufacturing, which means all adjacent related sectors to AI, data centers, cooling infrastructure, related power infrastructure. All of these will have to come together, and only then the city will grow to become a $1 trillion economy in 2034. So if I have to pinpoint any one, I would say it has to be a combination of all of these initiatives coming together for the city to grow.
Fabulous, Rakesh, fabulous. So no one thing will propel us to $1 trillion, but a combination of all. Thank you very much. Mahesh, how exposed is Hyderabad's growth story to climate risks such as water stress, heat stress, and energy transition challenges? The reason I ask you this is Geeta Gopinath Garu, IMF Deputy Chief, was talking about the threat of environment for investors to come in.
Very true. So we are in 2025, and 2034 is not very far away. About the numbers, I'm not very excited because I can hear all the panels. I think we are at the end of it. Our typical audience is cynical about not actually happening. So I think we have to fragment things, like Sir was mentioning about CBDs. So do pilots in different zones, identify zones, and empower those as local authorities. Like we have Isla and industrial parks. So I think that's the only way we have to. So there's a lot of work, sir. I think we should only start by disruption. If we don't disrupt right now, even if we reach the target of 1 trillion or more into 2034, I think we'll end up being a Kalki movie where it becomes 5% of people are going to live on the air and this thing. And like Sir was mentioning, why don't we start thinking about 90% of the population, which is not very privileged? 5% are able to speak, talk, contribute. So we are very excited about our dark store, 10-minute delivery, but how is it happening? And after COVID, how ready are we for the calamities? What happened to New York when COVID hit them? And sir, Hyderabad is very unique, Hyderabad and Nagpur. If you see the country, we are landlocked. So Nagpur and Hyderabad can grow in all directions. And we have excellent, pleasant weather conditions. We are low on seismic activity. And till about a year ago, we were talking about water surplus. I'm not sure what is happening now. So I think we are fully STP compliant. Sir, it's a collective responsibility of things like, I'm an architect, so I'm talking about COA, I'm talking about IAA, IIID, NAREDCO, CREDI, or any of the bodies. I think we should all divide and own up to society, sir. I think the old CSR fund which we are spending should be spent only on the city. We'll expand, we'll definitely grow, it has to grow, but containing the city, I stay in Narsingi, sir. Today we live in a bubble of dust. So I had to invest some 10 lakh rupees to do a vacuumed clean air facility. And how many of us can afford? So people who are asthmatic, who are allergic. So it's callous, sir. We are looking at Delhi, Bombay. So we are like not very far away. So people talk about in Hyderabad being second capital or data center group or a GCC capital. Everything is okay, sir. But you should be living a quality, healthy life to do that. So we also do electrification of charging stations. EV adaptation after, I think, G20 summit, government gave a lot of impetus on G20 summit, and we are struggling on adapting for EVs. Today, even from metro, last mile delivery is a problem. So the roads are choked. I don't really know what's going to happen to Narsingi, if all of you know, that once this 20,000-30,000 apartments start living in, it's going to be a ticking time bomb, sir. So then,
Mahesh, we have some of the largest developers who are building in Narsingh here. We'll talk about it later.
No, hence
Mahesh, thank you.
No, hence I'm talking to them, sir. They should realize.
Krishna, in which real estate asset classes do you see valuation risk building up in the next 8 to 10 years?
Yeah, before answering this question, I want to tell you a real story. In the year 1981, your father, one of the pioneers of construction industries, built Sarita Apartments, and my father bought a flat there for 200 rupees per square feet. So today we have built a building in Banjara Hills where the going rate is 20,000 rupees per square feet. So that is the potential Hyderabad has. So 200 rupees to 20,000 rupees per square feet. That is nearly 100-fold in a span of 40 years. So let us divide the investments into 4 categories: the commercial spaces, public office spaces, and the malls and showrooms, and then retail spaces, and then we have the open plots, and then we have residential apartments, and then we have the logistic parks. So coming into the quick commerce. So coming into this commercial spaces. So as it is commercial space, there is a oversupply. So, and commercial space is also today, this work from home and hybrid models have also have come, and we have to see the impact of that on the commercial spaces. Commercial spaces normally offer a return of 7%, and suppose with 5% or 15% hike every 3 years, so there will be a capital appreciation of another 5%. So totally it will give 12%. But there are a lot of commercial spaces which are vacant. So one has to be very careful just buying during the construction stage, because to find a tenant will be very difficult. So I feel that the REITs has already set in. It has come in most of the states. Even here we have this Raheja and Bluestone and other REITs are there. So I think this would be a better way for an individual investor to invest, because any amount of money can be invested, just like in a share market you can invest even 1,000 rupees also. Similarly, even also here in this model, the beauty is even if 30% of the complex is vacant also, at least you will be getting some return out of it, rather than being this one. Suppose if you are an individual investor, even if you are a big investor also, if you invest and the space is vacant, then it will be very difficult. As we see, there are a lot of, except for the core areas, that is the Gachibowli and Royal other areas. So we are seeing a lot of oversupply and a lot of unoccupied space in the peripheral areas like Narakaramuguda, like Kokapet and Neopolis and other places also. And one more challenge is the obsolescence of the building, because we see in the city core areas, which are supposed to be the prime areas like Amirpet and Begumpet and other places also, now the buildings have become obsolete, and once a tenant vacates, then to get a tenant is becoming difficult. So this is where an investor has to be very cautious. He has to see a pre-tenanted space to buy, rather than investing, because we have seen in the last 5-6 years lot of investments have gone into pre-sales, and people have bought, and the buildings they're like ghost buildings which are unoccupied, and they're added to that they're paying the monthly maintenance also. So coming into this retail spaces and malls, even here, so today the return is good, because people are getting for individual showrooms they're getting around 250 rupees per square feet, and in the malls also they're getting, but there are so many places where malls have become ghost malls. So because once the tenant, the anchor tenant vacates, then to get a tenant, and other tenants are also finding it difficult to get into the footfalls. So even here, if the REITs type of model, or a developer or a holding agency is there, so who gives in the form of a shares or some sort of a thing, then it becomes easy for the individual investor, because he need not do the vetting of the title, he need not get a tenant, everything is taken care of. So that kind of a matured model should develop over the years, and if that kind of a model develops, then certainly will be there. And here also there are challenges like this what you call e-commerce and other things. So how it is going to be in the coming years, it is going to be a matter of challenge. Yeah? So here investors should be cautious in investing, and see a proper
continuity versus private capital in sustaining Hyderabad's investment momentum of the next decade. We've seen huge capital coming in. What is your take on this?
Policy continuation will be the backbone of any developer, investor coming to Hyderabad. any of our projects take about 7 years from land acquisition, design, approval, and then the construction, at least 5 to 7 years. So the continuation of policy is very, very important for any investor to succeed in Hyderabad or any place for that matter. So if policy continuation is about 60% important in the project total life span of the project, and 40% will be your design, your marketing, so that policy where an investor can feel comfortable that he can exit during that 7-year period or whatever the time period that he is in there without any surprises later on coming and rescinding the policies that were made at the time of inception of the project. So these are the things where policy will play an important role in getting top investments into the city.
Thank you. Fabulous. Rakesh, you're in all asset classes. A generic question for you. If an investor did nothing for the next decade, what opportunity would they regret missing the most? If an investor just slept at home and did nothing, what would he miss the most in the next 10 years?
I think before that, I'll just add on the policy continuity. No? Policy continuity or policy consistency generally helps bring in more capital. And capital then helps you scale. So if there is no consistency in policy, there is no capital. And a policy without capital is a very good intent on paper. So you need both to move the city forward. Coming back to your question, if people don't do anything and just sit there for 10 years expecting their wealth to grow, I'm sorry, that is not going to happen anywhere. They will have to work hard. They will have to go through their options. There is no one option that really gives them an outright return that's better than the rest. It is always going to be, again, a combination of asset classes that will give them the returns that over a period of time will help beat inflation. No asset class will give you a return that beats inflation only by itself. You need to have a combination. And regret is always a part and parcel of life. People today would have regretted not getting into gold because it has crossed 5,000 USD. They would have regretted not getting into Bitcoin when it was 10 cents because today it's crossed 100,000 USD. So regret is always part and parcel of life. If you follow hype, you will never get any return. Take a long-term view, invest in all asset classes so that your risk and rewards are balanced.
Fabulous, Rakesh. So no single asset class will beat inflation. Wow, fabulous input. Diversify your money, friends. Mahesh, what is missing in Hyderabad startup ecosystem that capital alone cannot solve? Money alone cannot solve certain things.
So we have very large population. We have, I think, 30-40% of people like physically challenged or some mobility issues. They're not being, absorbed. I think that's one huge thing where you can, capital alone is of course not the solution, because on gold and silver, like sir was talking about. So my cousin was sitting on a stock of gold. He didn't do anything for 10 years. And now he made shitloads of money, so you never know how it's going to go. Sometimes you get lucky by windfalls. But I think startup, we have an ecosystem. I was referring to sir that the FDI pipes, Chennai has Tamil Nadu has the highest FDI flowing in, and Hyderabad in warehousing and logistics, we hardly have anything. So the pipe, which only a government can do it in terms of regulatory, or giving lands of national logistics management, NHAI, TSRTC. We have to get these things. And manufacturing is going to be the next decade. So I think we'll have to leverage the lands and then probably make them a pipe. So the Title Act or whatever is mentioned, the statutory part I think will do something. And all the kids are coming back from the US, so we will have to create opportunities for them. That's also there.
Thank you, Mahesh. Chinana, What realistic risks could derail Hyderabad's growth trajectory? We've seen something great happening over the last 30 years. What is your fear?
Yeah, in that aspect, Hyderabad has been lucky for the last 32 years where we have the political stability. What the previous government started, the next government continued and finished the projects. If the slippage happens in the infrastructure, if the infrastructure projects don't survive the elections, then we are in trouble. The Hyderabad growth story would stop if the infrastructure projects don't pass on from one administration to the next administration, because it takes a long time for infrastructure to be done. And the other thing with AI, probably we being dependent so much on IT jobs, all our projects, irrespective of what we do, the employment drives the whatever, whether it's residential, IT, or the logistics, whatever we do here, because it's of IT jobs that are being created here. With AI coming into picture, that's the main thing, how the next 3-4 years we will be able to cope up. But the good thing is GCC are looking at Hyderabad now. Probably that's a silver lining during these AI transformation days. So hopefully Hyderabad in safe hands as far as future is concerned.
Thank you. Thank you. Rakesh, just to lead off from that answer, now with AI being adopted across life sciences, across IT services, how do you see the job market evolving over the next 5 to 7 years?
I think it will be very difficult to hazard a guess on that, Sunilana, but what I can say is obviously AI is just another tool of industrial automation that has now come online. Earlier you had during the industrial revolution it was the machines, then you had the computers. Everybody spoke about jobs being eliminated because of computers, but they created a new set of jobs. Likewise, AI will create a new set of jobs as well. While some jobs which are very rudimentary may become redundant, there will be new jobs created for new set of skills where people have to adopt. But
I request Mr. Narsi Reddy Garu to please come on to the dais to present memento to Mr. I request Mr. Ravindranath Tagore to please come on to the dais. Ravindranath Tagore to please come on to the dais to present memento to Mr. P. Srinivas Reddy, Executive Director, Raj Pushpa Properties Private Limited. To present memento to Mr. V. Krishna Reddy, Managing Director, Sri Srinivasa Infra. I request Mr. Bhopal Reddy. Mr. Bhopal Reddy. Mr. Bhopal Reddy Garu to please come on to the dais. Thank you, sir. Now it's a time to facilitate our sponsors without whom the event is.
Friends,